Thanks for joining us over here at Maniac, where we talk about whatever we feel like talking about for the day. Yeah. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Taylor.
And let's get started.
So hello, my name is Taylor Ma. I'm 27. I'm married and I live in Houston, Texas. And I'm currently unemployed.
Yes.
Originally, I graduated from school with an accounting degree. And then I did accounting for a while, but I did not like it. And so I quit my job, and now here we are.
I am Sarah Davis. I am 30 years old, almost 31, and I am married. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. I am currently unemployed, and I previously worked in healthcare. I have a degree in psychology and in criminal justice. I went in to be a state trooper. I've also worked in finance. I've done a lot of things, and honestly I was overall miserable. Got kind of sick, and luckily, I was fortunate enough that my husband kind of took the burden for that, and now I can kind of figure life out, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, and that's also the stage where I'm at.
Yeah.
Where luckily my husband has been like, I can support you.
Yeah.
while you go through this and figure out what you want to do with life, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, same spot.
One thing we haven't talked about is how we met. And
yeah.
how we know each other, and I guess why we decided to start the podcast.
Yeah.
Those are good things to talk about,
Yes.
I feel like.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so Sarah and I met because Dewey, her husband, and I are related.
Yes.
Yes, we're family. But now Sarah married into the family, so we're family.
We're family.
As well.
Yes.
And so we met each other prior to COVID, early on in the relationship, I feel like, between you and Dewey.
I think we were only a week in to our relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, we moved pretty fast.
Yeah.
We bought a house 3 months in. So
Yeah. You guys moved fast.
That's quick.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I feel like that's lesbian quick.
Yeah.
Lesbian U-Haul, we ready. But,
Yeah.
but I feel like a week in.
Yes.
And he brought me to a game night.
Yes.
At your house.
A board game night.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's how we met. And I immediately liked you.
Oh. Yay!
My first impression is, oh, she's too good for him.
Oh!
That's usually my first impression.
Yeah.
When I meet people's significant other, I'm like, I don't know if they're the right fit.
They might move on soon. No, I think my first impression was I felt really welcomed, right? Mm-hmm. Which I have a lot of social anxiety, right? And so it was really nice to just not have to be in a social setting, right? We were at your apartment, and it was a small group. There were only, 6 of us total?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I felt like it wasn't as much pressure on me to be able to kind of communicate with everyone who was all strangers to me. I'm the only stranger in the group at that point, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like everyone was just so welcoming and so nice, and it was my introduction to board games as well, right?
Yes.
So I was just getting into board games, which I love, and I didn't know at the time, and everyone was so patient with me as I'm learning stuff. I pick up quickly, but at the same time I'm I've never played this random restaurant game. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And so it was just really nice, and then I felt like there were a lot of similarities between me and Dewey as a couple and you and Jackson as a couple.
Yes.
Because it's one Vietnamese and one white person.
Yes.
And so there were a lot of similarities of things that the relationships were going through. And so I was this is really nice to have someone else to talk to about this as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess my first impression was I just felt welcomed. And it was really nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
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 So why did we decide to start this podcast?
I mean, we were both unemployed.
Yes.
Both had time.
Yes.
And, well, for me, I was I talked to you about all of my, mental health stuff. I talked to you more openly than I talked to anybody else. And it was an excuse to get to do that regularly, to, force me to get out of bed, to force me to have something to do, and then not only have to do something, but have you there with me and kind of help me through life.
Yeah.
Right? And so that was kind of my like reason for I was like
I think it's the same for me. It gives me a reason to get out of bed and to do something today.
Yeah.
And, like today I got out of bed so I could do this podcast with you.
Exactly. I was not gonna get out of bed, and then I was like, oh wait, Taylor's coming. So I got out of bed and I was like, okay, I'll get dressed. And I feel like having this, even though like we're not like super professional about it, right? Like we don't schedule like every week on the same day or anything like that, right? It's very relaxed.
Yes.
And even with it being super relaxed, I feel like it kind of gives me a reason to like start my week, even though we'll like podcast on a Thursday.
Yes.
To me, I'm like, this is starting my week. Like I feel like I'm more energized to do things because I have this reason to be energized.
Yes, I'm the same way, especially because I know you don't do the editing process and I do the editing process, but like I enjoy it and it gives me something to do afterwards. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something. And so that's big for me. Especially as someone who's not working, right? Exactly. It's those small accomplishments, they mean a lot.
I do feel like even just recording is accomplishing something. And then on top of that, I feel like in the recording we're just hanging out. Like we're just having conversations we normally have. And I feel like because we're just hanging out and we're just having conversations, I also feel like this like face-to-face time is just so beneficial for me. Because I am a horrible texter. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's so bad. I don't have any like inflection in text messages. I don't know how to like respond properly to text messages.
It's your social anxiety speaking.
I don't know what's wrong with it. And I'm so blunt in texting, right? Like it's just like sentence period, sentence period, sentence period. Like here's the answer to what you asked. I don't know how to move this forward. And Dewey almost didn't continue seeing me at first when we started talking because I was such a bad texter. He thought I wasn't interested.
Oh, wow,
So like it's real bad. And I just do a lot better in person or Snapchat a lot. Like when my friends are like texting me or like voice memos, I'll just send a voice memo or a Snapchat instead because I feel like people don't understand my like attitude or my inflection when I'm texting. I don't know how to change that. I've tried like more emojis and stuff and it just feels off, or I get so anxious about which emoji I'm supposed to select and it's really bad. So just having this like set face-to-face time where I get to talk to you and I get to talk to someone who like I'm comfortable with is really beneficial to me. And I feel like having more face-to-face time with you has also opened up our relationship a little more.
Of course. Like, for sure.
I definitely talk to you more in person than I do outside of being in person. You definitely put in a lot more effort to like message me and text me and stuff.
I've been trying. After I realized that all your social anxiety stuff, I've been making more of an effort.
And I really appreciate it.
No problem.
I try really hard to like respond to you and or like send you things, and I started sending you memes and videos and stuff, which is new for me. So
no, I appreciate them. Yes, I love them.
So I don't know. I think this is like my therapy.
Wow.
Right? So thank you.
No problem. I'm not sure what else to say.
Okay, let me ask you some questions.
Okay.
Because these are things I'd like to know about you.
Okay.
So let's just start off with, how have you changed the most in the last year?
Oh, how have I changed the most in the last year? I feel like I'm the happiest I've been in a really long time because I struggle with depression. So I've been trying to find the right mix of meds that work for me. And I finally feel as though I've hit a point where I've stabilized. Where I've hit a point where I don't have to go see my doctor every month to adjust the medication. To figure out what works and what doesn't, and then go through the side effects and consequences of it not working. I feel as though it's been a long ride and it's been a long time coming, and I finally reached a point where I can wake up and not feel terrible about my day. and feel like I can actually start my day and do things that I want to do. I feel like I've become a new person in that sense.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay for new people.
Yeah. I also feel a lot more confident of where I am and who I am now because of all those things. I feel like I've come at the end of a long struggle and long battle, and I can tell that it's had a positive effect on me.
Good.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. What about you, Sarah?
I think, I also struggle with depression and a lot of anxiety. And so in the past year, my whole life changed, right? I got really sick and I had to give up all the things I love. And I had to become a new person. And I wasn't quite sure who that person was going to be or if I was even going to like them. And I'm still kind of wading through that and trying to figure out, what my new life is going to be. And as I become healthier and we get rid of some of my health issues, I am still not certain if I want to go back to who I was, right? And so I feel like over the past year I've just been struggling to understand who I am without external things happening to me, or without me having external stuff that I can latch onto. And I think the biggest thing for me was actually getting diagnosed with autism at 30, right? And then that kind of helped me understand the way my brain works and how I interact with stuff, and things that I fixate on, and why I may be fixated, or why I may be having anxiety in a certain situation, or why I'm kind of breaking down in certain ways. And so I think knowing that now and being able to kind of have those tools for me to look at myself and then kind of regather and reevaluate, I feel like that's what's changed the most. Is now I just kind of have this better understanding of who I am, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am at the same time. So I feel like I'm also a completely different person.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I feel like before this, right, I was just known as someone who was super athletic, and I just played sports all the time. That's where all my energy went, and I felt like I was charismatic, right? I would just go out and be very social, but that was never really me. I was always wearing a mask, and I was performing this social character. And then when I got sick and I couldn't do anything, and I was alone, and of course I got really depressed, and kind of found new things that I really enjoyed that were outside of that persona that I had built.
Yeah.
To just perform out in society. And I found all these things that didn't fit that persona, and I was wow, I think this is who I really am, under the mask.
Yeah.
And so I think over the past year I'm just kind of stripping that away and becoming who I really am.
That's great.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it's been nice.
Yes. And it's a great time to do it at 30.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it feels very fitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically it. But I think we've talked about this before, but what motivates you to get up in the morning? To just start your day?
What motivates me to get up in the morning, start my day? It's usually the dogs.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Cinnamon does this absolutely. I have 2 dogs, first of all, named Cinnamon and Americano. They're my life. They're my little babies.
Yes.
Yes. And Cinnamon does this thing in the mornings where he'll need to go to the restroom. And the way he asks you is he just licks your face.
Oh my god.
It's really cute, but he'll just wake up in the morning and he'll lick all over your face. He'll be super excited, super amped, just really happy to start his day. And that gets me up in the morning. It reminds me how nice it is to just have the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Americano's just there, hanging out.
Yeah. Just chilling on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, right? Because I have 2 dogs and 3 cats, and we got the dogs during COVID, and because we were both working from home, it just made sense. We had the time, we had a house, new yard, everything, so we got the dogs, and I had the cats prior to that. And like looking at it now, I'm like, I'm definitely a cat person. Like I'm cat level energy. But without the dogs, I wouldn't have a reason to like get up and start the day and like do things, like be outside, you know? And I feel like they greatly improve my mental health. Even though sometimes I'm like, God, I don't want to wake up early.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'll go sit in the sun for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff. So I think it's definitely the dogs do a lot.
Yeah, they do so much.
Yes.
They do a lot of heavy lifting in this mental health.
They don't even know they're heavy lifting.
No, they don't.
They're just going about their day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I agree.
So how do the dogs get you up in the morning?
Okay, so it's real weird. I have 2 dogs. One is Badger and one is Sage. And Sage will really only make noise if he really wants something, and that's usually just if he's hungry. So if it's really late in the morning and he hasn't had to go to the bathroom yet, he'll wake me up and because he's hungry, and he'll be like, right in my face, and I'm like, okay, I hear you. But usually what happens is Badger, my very anxious boy, who tries not to make noise, he will sit next to the bed, and he's tall enough where his face is like right in my face, and he just like breathes heavily and stares at you like a child in the middle of the night that creeps you out.
Yeah.
And he does that. And then if you don't respond, if you haven't noticed him, he makes this weird noise. And it's not like a whimper. It's not a bark. It goes, wow. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then you have to get up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, if I heard that too, I would be like,
Yeah.
it's time to get up.
It's a weird noise. But that's the only noise he makes in the morning. And that's after a long, long time of staring at you in the dark.
Yeah. No, like, Cinnamon does a lot of licking before we actually, like, get up.
I don't know. Why are they so weird?
They're so weird. It's the only way they can get our attention when we're, like, half dead.
Yes. I don't know. They're weird, man. I feel like Cinnamon is, like, somewhat normal. Like, I'm gonna lick you awake. Badger is just, like, the creepy toddler in the corner. Just, like, staring at you in the dark. I don't know. He's weird. But, yeah, I do think that my life would be very different if we hadn't gotten the dogs.
Yeah.
And I think it probably would not be as good of a life.
Yeah. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
And then I think about how boring our life would be without the dogs. Or even sometimes when one of the dogs comes inside and the other one stays out and it's just 3 of us, I'm like, our life would be pretty boring even if it's just the 3 of us. Like, I really do think it needs the 4 of us for it to work. Yeah.
I do feel that. I don't think that the dogs would be as comfortable without one another, right? Well, one, Sage is very active. He needs a lot of play. He needs a lot of attention. He's very loving, just very hyperactive. And then Badger is very anxious, right? And he's not a big player, but he cannot function without his brother's comfort. And his brother will kind of bring out that playful side in him. And so I think the 2 of them really help one another. Because as much as I try, and as much as, like, Dewey, my husband, tries, right, we are not as active as, like, Sage really needs us to be. And so having his brother who will, like, sprint around the yard with him or, you know, like, play tug-of-war with him, that's really what he needed. Yeah. And then Badger really needed someone who would lay and cuddle him when he's feeling anxious. And that's what he gets from Sage. So I'm like, I don't think we would function as a family without both of them. Yeah. So I'm very grateful that we got the 2 and that they work together so well.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I think one thing that you touched on that's super interesting about us is that we're in interracial couples. Yes. But we're the flip-flops of each other. Yeah. Yeah. So my husband is white and Dewey's Asian. Yes. Yes. So we have that. What's been, like, the most cultural difference?
It's food.
Food.
Yeah, I think we struggle the most with food. And it's not just because, like, there's cultural differences with food that we eat, right? but it's more so that I am also a picky eater.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to kind of like meet in the middle with like what I'm comfortable eating and then what he's used to eating, right? Because before dating me, he really only ate his mom's Vietnamese cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it, really. Or if they went out to eat, they went to a Vietnamese restaurant.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's used to eating every single day. That's what he enjoys eating every day. And I, on the other hand, had never eaten Vietnamese food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also like, it's really hard for me to eat certain stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have like stomach problems, I have allergies,
Yeah.
and the autism with the textures on foods just
Mm-hmm.
really gets me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like struggling to kind of move forward into that.
Yeah.
That's our biggest struggle, and it's
Mm-hmm.
mostly like it's my issue because like I have food issues, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard on him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that was hardest on me was understanding Asian family dynamics versus white family dynamics,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And like the responsibility that Asian children feel towards their families.
Yeah.
That is not something that I grew up with
Yeah.
or was used to or anything.
Yeah.
I don't have the most functional family, so it was really, really a big shift for me to like understand like, hey, he wants to financially take care of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to like go see them every week. Like he
Mm-hmm.
wants to spend more time with them. He wants to like provide all of these things for them. And I'm not used to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, even though like my mom and stuff was not the most like responsible adult,
Mm-hmm.
it was always like parents take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like return until like your parents are like old where they're like needing help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before that you don't really do anything extra. You don't like take on those additional responsibilities as like their child.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge shift for me and something that I had to get like used to, right? Because I don't want to see my family every week,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, Jackson's the same way. He doesn't really want to see his family every week. Yeah.
We're very independent.
Yes.
It's just like instilled into us.
Yes, and then I'm out here being like, no, my mom wants us to visit every single week.
Yeah.
They want to see us every single week
Yeah.
and give us food every
week.
single week. Yeah.
Dewey's mom drops off. She drives 45 minutes to us every week to just drop off food.
Yes.
Doesn't stay. Doesn't like hang out.
Yeah.
Just comes to say, hey, this is how I love you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I show it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some food.
Yes.
Every week.
Yeah.
And like that's astonishing to me. That was just not something I could fathom.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so it's really nice.
Mhm.
It's like it's new to me, but I feel like on some level I really like want that, right? Like I
Mhm.
want that like strong like family bond.
Mhm.
But at the same time I'm just so used to being like independent where I'm like, no, I don't want to spend my time like, you know, like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
And then for Dewey it was just like him getting used to eating white people food. You know? So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
What was like the biggest thing for you guys?
There's a lot of things. Food is definitely one of them, but I think in terms of food, all it did was open up food for Jackson
Yeah.
to try new things, because me and Con are basically like foodies,
Yeah.
and we love trying new places, going to new places.
Yeah.
And so then now it was just bringing Jackson along for the ride.
Yeah.
So he definitely got to explore more of that.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest difference for us is the holidays, I would say.
Oh my gosh, yes.
The holidays are the biggest difference.
Yes.
Yes. Mainly because my family didn't really celebrate these holidays.
Yeah.
We didn't really establish anything to celebrate the holidays, but I knew that when I got older and I had a family of my own, I wanted to celebrate these holidays.
Yeah.
But Jackson, on the opposite end, grew up with all these
Yeah.
holidays.
You have like very traditional ways you celebrate
Mhm.
each holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he grew up with these holidays, and he told me he was holidayed out, and he's tired of
It's
it.
like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
you're I need it.
Yes, I'm like, I want it, because I never had it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm tired of it. So then, like, every Thanksgiving time, I can tell how like tired he is and about having to like cook food or
you have to plan everything, you
plan
have to cook everything,
yes.
you have to coordinate everything.
Yes, but me on the other end, I'm just so happy. I'm like, it's finally Thanksgiving. Like, come on, we get to eat turkey.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I never get to eat turkey.
I'm with Jackson. I'm like, oh man, I have to prep everything, I have to plan everything, I have to contact everyone, I have to coordinate with everyone to make sure that the plans that I have made are going to work for everyone, because I don't want anyone to feel left out or like I've like spurned them, right? And now I have to host the event, so I have to clean everything, I have to decorate everything, and it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And not only that is you have so many of them. So
yes.
For me, right, the reason I usually host holidays is that I come from a family of divorce, right? So, like, while my parents, which is my stepdad, but to me, he's the only father I've ever known, so to me, my parents are together, right? That's totally fine, but all of my grandparents are separated. So we used to have to do, like, 4 different holiday things every holiday, and it was just so draining, and it was so hard to schedule, and being like the peak, right, the pin where that connects everyone, I was like, you know what, we're not gonna do this. I am gonna host this, and everyone is going to come to this, everyone is welcome, and if you don't feel comfortable, that's on you. Like, that's a you problem. I have offered, I have supplied everything, and if you want to spend the holiday with me and the rest of the family, then please come. And if that's something that you don't want to do because of one person, then that's a you problem. So that's why I've started like hosting everything, but it is exhausting. Exhausting. And Dewey and I even like, we got in a little like argument last night actually trying to plan Christmas.
Yes, so every time Christmas comes around, I always feel really frustrated with Jackson because Christmas to me is big. I've always seen it as this like big holiday, but I never had it growing up. Like, we didn't have a tree going up. We didn't have a Christmas tree. So one of the things that I really wanted when we first got our own place was, I was like, we need to have a Christmas tree.
And you put your Christmas tree up like on the dot.
You're
like, it's up, it's time, tree.
I do that. And the reason I do that is because I grew up without it. But then like, Jackson, on the other hand, has always had it growing up, so he's a little bit of a Grinch during Christmas. I would say he's more Christmas is whatever. So then during the holidays, I'm always the one doing everything by myself, especially for Christmas. I put up the tree by myself, I put up all the ornaments, I put up all the decorations, I buy all the gifts, I wrap all the gifts, I do it all by myself. And so then we always have like a little argument about it, about how much effort is being put into it and how much like we're actually dividing that effort.
Because it is a lot. And see, I'm kind of on the same level, right? Where like I do everything because Dewey's never had to do those things. He doesn't know all of the things that need to be done. He doesn't know the huge checklist that is getting Christmas.
It's a big checklist.
Yes. And you know, like, I do all those things because he doesn't know how to do them. And he will, like, try to help, right? We got in an argument over wrapping presents. I was wrapping everyone's presents. And there's just so many gifts, and it's so much wrapping. And, like, your back starts hurting after a while because you're bending over, and, like, it's so much effort just to do that one task. That one task out of all of the tasks. And so I was like, can you just help me. Just help me wrap these gifts.
Oh my gosh, one year I asked Jackson to help me wrap the gifts, but then they ended up looking so terrible. And I was like, I can't. I should have just wrapped them myself.
So that's like he came in and he's like, I don't know how to wrap these. And so like he ended up just like tearing the tape and just handing me the tape while I did everything. But like that one little effort from him like just relieved just a little bit from me, right? And I'm like, okay, like, it's okay. But I still was just so frustrated that, of course, you get, like, grumpy and you're kind of, like, in a bad mood because you're just, like, so exhausted from the task you're doing. And so I just got kind of, like a little pissy, right? And I was just like, oh, no. And so I kept getting upset. I was like, I need more tape. Like, be on top of your job. You have one job. So, but Like, we got through it and everything, but it's just kind of those things where, because he's never really had to do those things, like, he's never had to put up lights, right? So, like, the Christmas lights, they go on the house, and even though I am smaller and weaker, he doesn't know how to do it. So I'm the one who has to go put the lights on the house. And, like, he'll hold the ladder and, like, hand me things, right? But it's still so much effort on my part, right? Or, like, he doesn't know how to put the tree together, so, like, I have to put the tree together, or I have to, like, guide him. And we always talk about when you have to give mental effort, right? So, like, even though I may not have to do the task, me having to create the checklist for you and give you the checklist and explain how each task has to be done is still so much mental effort on me. Right? And at that point, it's almost more effort to try and explain every single step than it is for me to do the step myself. And so, like, you kind of have to, like, walk this balance of, like, I don't know what's going to be easier on me. And I think the holidays, like, really bring that out, because our holiday traditions are so different.
Yeah, they're so different. Yeah.
And, like, of course, my whole family's getting together on one specific day, but then his whole family decided they wanted to get together on that day, and I was like, this is the one day I told you we couldn't do. Like, I can't move my holiday. I'm hosting.
Yes.
And so, you know, like, there's a lot of, like, back and forth, especially because it's hard, right? Where I'm doing a lot of stuff, right? We're doing a full-fledged traditional, like, American-style Christmas. Right?
Yeah.
And even more so, my grandma, she is the most wonderful person. She is an angel. And she noticed that as we were getting older, as, like, kids and stuff, we weren't really getting gifts for every single person in the family anymore, right? So you're not getting a gift for, like, your uncle and your aunt who are, like, at Christmas. And, you know, or, like, only your parents are giving you gifts instead of, like, the extended family. And so she just didn't want anyone to feel left out at Christmas. So she started this tradition about 2 years ago where she buys a bunch of white elephant gifts.
Wow,
She just buys however many people are going to be at Christmas. She buys all the gifts. She wraps all of them. And then on Christmas, everyone gets to go home with a gift.
That's insane to me. I could never do that.
It was just, like, it's so wild.
Yes.
But also at the same time, like, it's so heartfelt.
Yes. It's really thoughtful. But, like, on the other hand, all I can think about is wrapping all those gifts.
And so, this year, I'm hosting Christmas. We had a death in the family, and usually my grandma hosts, but she has to go to a funeral. She doesn't have time to, like, prep and everything. So I'm hosting Christmas, and we're still gonna do white elephant.
Wow.
I'm going to do it. And so, of course, like, we have all of those gifts and everything. So not only am I, like, making a huge feast, we have all of the lights up, we have the trees up, the decorations, the whole family is coming. We have, like, presents that are being passed out between family members, and then we're also doing white elephant. And it's this whole big ordeal with my family. While Dewey's family, they want to get together on Christmas, but it's just like another dinner.
Yes, it's a dinner. Yeah,
it's just a dinner.
That's what my family's doing as well. We're just getting together for a dinner. Yeah.
So it's hard to be like, hey, I know your family wants to do this on the same day, but I just feel like my Christmas festivities are a little more in-depth than your family dinner. I have no problem, you know, going and celebrating with them, but, like, I can't move my festivities for this dinner. And so, like, I think, like, it's just easier if they move their dinner, right? It's hard to kind of weigh, like, what is more important on that day, right? And I feel like it's unfair, because just because they don't have all these huge, like, extravagant traditions doesn't mean that their tradition is any less important. So I feel like that is usually stressful and puts a lot of strain on us during the holidays too.
Yeah. For us, for my family, our Christmas is Chinese New Year. Like, it's humongous.
Yeah.
It's big. My parents go to 10 different temples during the holidays for Chinese New Year.
That's a lot of temples.
Yeah, they go to, like, all the ones in Houston.
Wow.
Yeah, they love it. And so then we try to partake in it also.
Yeah.
And so we'll go to, like, 3 with them. And even then, that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Dewey's family was big, because they do the New Year's as well.
Yeah.
and it's like everyone is there, and usually everyone's in like an owie.
Yes.
And we all have red envelopes.
Yes.
And it's this much larger celebration.
Yes. That's our Christmas.
Yeah. So, but they don't go to like we don't go to temples.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think maybe his parents do, but we've never.
Oh, you guys should go sometime. It's pretty fun. It's always interesting to see the different vibes of the temples.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and just kind of like bask in it. Enjoy the tradition, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I'll have to see if they're gonna go.
Yeah.
And we can like tag along.
Yeah.
But that's usually like their big holiday thing.
Mm-hmm.
I never really know when that is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It just springs up on me.
Oh, it's because it's usually like the end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never, because I have so many things back to back, right? So
Yeah.
like, you go through, so I have a brother's birthday, I have my dad's birthday, a brother's birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, my mom's birthday, and then we do New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all these things just like one after another. I'm like, I never even know when anything's happening anymore.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all just squished together in the year. It's
Yeah.
just all these things happening. And then the middle of the year is just like grace. Nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I never even know when this is happening. He's just like, hey, we're going to do New Year's. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Tell me where.
Yeah. But I think that's what he kind of expects for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to be like, yeah, it's Christmas. And he'll be like, oh, right, we got to
Yeah.
do Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Holidays are
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
with the different stuff.
Yeah, the different traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been like the biggest difference.
Yeah, that is a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because like I don't know why white people put such like pressure on holidays. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
they're such a big, extravagant thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been really interesting to go celebrate the holiday with his family, and it's not this big extravagant thing.
No, yeah,
right?
it's really chill.
It's really chill.
Yeah.
And it's like stress free.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this feels like what a holiday should feel like. You know, like instead of all this extra stress and this extra running around, it's just like, hey, we're here with family.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's nice. I feel like I'm a little on Jackson's side where I'm like, I just want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm done. I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. No, every time Christmas comes around, we always have this argument of like putting in effort. Have you seen those TikToks lately about like who fills the mom's stocking
Oh, yeah.
for Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes. I asked him that too. I was like, who fills your mom's stocking? And because I never thought about it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, my dad does it. I was like, that's great. So then like, do we fill each other's stockings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
Yeah.
Yes. You know what's really funny is my dad
Mhm.
always did our stockings. He did everyone's stockings,
Oh,
even himself.
wow.
He would get like the candy and the little stocking stuffers, and he would put them in everyone's stocking.
Yeah.
And he would even do his, and like my mom would maybe do like one thing to put in his gift, but he was always our Santa, right? He was always like all the holiday stuff went to him.
That's definitely not common.
No, it's not.
That's very rare.
Yeah, it's not common at all.
Yeah.
But he would put all that effort. He wrapped all the gifts.
Wow, yeah.
He like made sure that we had the whole Christmas experience on Christmas morning. For a long time, even after I went off to college, I had to be home on Christmas morning to open gifts from Santa with my brothers and like with my family.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things, and I think like I cherish those moments, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he just put all that effort in, and like now having like a family of my own, even though it's just me and Dewey, you know, I feel like I need to put that effort in.
Yes.
Because Dewey doesn't know
To
do that.
To do that, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want this to die, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad was our stocking stuffer.
Wow, yeah.
all the time.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah. So we decided this year that we're gonna stock each other's stockings.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I never put anything in our stockings.
Oh, you guys should do something.
Well, I would,
yeah.
but the cats
Oh, right.
just like want everything for themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't put anything in the stockings, and normally we don't even get to do like a gift exchange with each other because we're so bad at waiting to give each other gifts.
Yeah.
It's like we buy it, we wrap it, and I'm like, here, take it. I want you to open it. Like, I'm excited for you to open it and see what this is.
Yeah.
And so we never wait, ever.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to Christmas, we don't really have anything for the two of us. But it's okay because Christmas is also our anniversary. So instead,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So instead of like celebrating Christmas together, we celebrate like our anniversary together on Christmas. And then we do Christmas stuff with my family and then with friends. And that's where we get like our Christmas traditions instead of just like the two of us.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. This has been a great time. I'm hoping that you'll join us for the next podcast. This is Taylor.
And this is Sarah.
And this is The Maniac.
Yeah!